We were getting pretty close to Alabama, and we got to the TA in Montgomery. It was very late at night, and she we found the last parking spot there, and she got in to spot me in, and she was out there. Okay, this way. Okay, start it. Stop. It was like she looked like she was landing with 747. I was like, you need to calm down or you're gonna have a heart attack out there. Just really tense all the time, and just really like, she's trying hard, but she's trying too hard, and it was causing her to make errors in judgment. This particular time I was doing the driving and stuff, but she couldn't relax. So anyway, that particular morning we had to get up very early to make the delivery, and we got up, and she called her mentor to give her directions. The thing was that she'd already been to this location like 3 or 4 times, but she wasn't retaining, and she would call him and expect him to get out of bed to make the route for him, and he would, because he was a nice guy. But I was like, it's me and you here, and we have a map, so between that, we should be able to figure this out on our own. You shouldn't be having this man on speed dial for every single thing that you need. He was such a crutch to her. But then she had this other group of people when she couldn't reach him, which she was able to reach him about 75% of the time, but she had these other guys that she would call, and whenever she called them, they were like, well, now you owe me this. You need to do this to me when I see you because I helped you with this. And she would kind of cut up with them a little bit about it, but when she got off the phone, she told me that she didn't. It was inappropriate what they were telling her she needed to do to them just for giving her the information, and they were adamant about it. I remember one guy was like almost abusive to her until she agreed that she would do this thing for him in exchange for the information he was giving her. I don't know where this mentality comes out that if you help somebody, all of a sudden that you own them. You own them lock, stock, and barrel. They're now your property. I met a girl, a lady, she's been driving 15 years, and she was telling me that she asked a guy to help her with her tandems, and the guy followed her for 3 states after that. There are a few people out here that think that if you ask them for help, you are now their property. No. There's plenty of people that will help you just because they're nice people. Plenty. That is inappropriate behavior. And if somebody says something like that to you, you need to go, no thank you. I don't need your help. And go find somebody that's willing to give it to you who is nice and polite. I had a man gave me help the other night when a bridge was closed. He was the nicest man, and he showed me a direction to get around the closed bridge. There are lots of nice people that will help you. If you have somebody tell you that you owe them something because they helped you with some information, just turn around on your heel and walk right away and say, keep your information. You can have it. Nobody owns you. I could see that it bothered her, but she didn't really know how to handle herself with these men. They were manipulating her. And I don't know that much about her background. Anyway, we got to deliver our load. We got there, and we were on time, but there was 4 trucks in front of us, And so by the time we got up to the guard shack, the guard checked us in 6 minutes late. Plus, once we went in and parked and went inside to the shipping office, they said we were 15 minutes late because of the time that it took to put the truck in the dock. Therefore, they would not unload us. And she was a little short. We went and waited. We waited almost all day. Even the yard jockey came up and he said, they don't like you guys in there. You must have said something to them. We couldn't figure it out if it was because we were women and the girl behind the counter was a woman, and that does happen out here. Sometimes you get somebody that's like, I'm going to show you. TJ was a little curt. That did not help the situation. We had to wait we were there all day long. This is a situation that happens. It doesn't just happen to women, it happens to men too. Sometimes you get a guard or you get somebody in a shipping office that they want to just show you how it's going to be. I read on one woman's blog that they were making her wait a long time, and the guy at the shipping office called her a cunt. You know, it does happen from time to time, and some of these people that are on a little power trip, what are you going to do? You know, they can say, go sit out there and we won't take you till tomorrow. That's money out of your pocket when that stuff happens. So you kind of are at the mercy of somebody if they are in charge of that paperwork. They can make you sit. They can, say you were late. They can say you didn't arrive on time. I've seen them change numbers. So you gotta, watch how you handle yourself. And that was something that TJ was not seeing, that you need to be a little diplomatic when you go to these shippers. We got out of there and we went through Atlanta, where she's from, and we went to where she lives because she wanted to see her little girl and get her mail. And, Tony was waiting for me, but he could wait a little bit longer. She asked me if I minded, and I didn't mind. So she dropped me off at like the little neighborhood shopping center place, and I went and got my nails done and hung out. She joined me later, and we both got our eyebrows waxed, and we had a really nice time talking. I liked her. She liked to listen to gospel music. I liked it. She was kind of a little brash, where she was like, I know you're not going to like this, but I did like it. I didn't like when we were parked at night that she would play the music really loud, and she would want the upstairs speaker up high too, because I'm a light sleeper. So these are team things. These are things that you need to work out when you're with a team. The music. Do you have to sleep with music at night? I can't. I need silence. Do you need it completely dark? She taught me about the door. When I got out of the truck when she was sleeping, and I would get out the door and I would close it. Well, when you're sleeping back there and somebody does that, it wakes you up, and it's like boom. So she said, don't do that. She said, here's a way that you can close the door better. She said, just go out there, and when it just like that, but you can just push it and it'll do a lot thing, but it won't be like boom right in your ear. That helped me. I didn't know how do you know that until somebody tells you, and that's kind of why I'm trying to do some of the little things that you could work out ahead of time. You don't find out until they happen. So then it starts being like another straw on the camel's back, where you've just had enough, and then then you're just at each other's throat. It didn't ever get to that point with me and her, because I was getting off the truck in Chattanooga, and her feelings were a little bit hurt. She wanted me to stay with her, but because of the driving issues, I didn't. I could see that she was going to have some sort of an accident or incident, and as a team, that would go on me. And I wanted to have safety was my number one concern. It was hard to get her to understand that because she was somebody that was difficult to talk to. There was a point where I considered bringing her up after I had several problems where I was like, you know what, even if I crash, I'll just, whatever. She's the only girl that I've seen so far. And I was going to call her up, and I actually ran into her mentor, and I said, I think I'm going to call her up. And he said, don't do it. Don't get on a truck with her. She doesn't listen. She's not moving forward, and it's just something's going to end up happening. And I took his advice, and I didn't. So there was some kind of questions like, why didn't you stay on her truck with her? Because there was all these, you know, bumping into this, bumping into that, and the curt way that was getting the behavior with the shippers and stuff. Somebody that's going to tell you you're my witness. That was a recipe for trouble. I probably would not be able to be a safe driver through all of this if I would have stayed on that truck with her. Now, that's not to say that whenever I saw her, we didn't like hang out, go eat together, and you know, talk. And she does appear later in my story because she ended up getting on a truck with somebody I just got off a truck with. And that is why women need to network with each other and communicate with each other, so that they don't go and repeat what situation somebody just got out of. That's why it's important to say, watch out for this guy, watch out for this one, and just avoid them. It's the silence that is hurting women. So that was my situation with TJ. When we came into Chattanooga, Tony was waiting for me, and they would not seat us on the truck. They wanted me to go up to HR and make this thing, and the HR people didn't want it. I had to stand up there and demand, and then finally somebody came out and they let me read my whole statement to them to sign off so that Ms. would seat me on the truck. And at the end of the whole thing, she was like, what part offended you? I was like, whatever. Okay. What part offended me? You're in the HR department and you don't see, they're probably the first 5 lines of the incident was offensive and unprofessional. So I saw that that was absolutely pointless. But it did free me up to be seated on a truck from Ms. But I felt a target. Tony went up there with me, and we were excited. We were going to get our truck finally. And he came up to me and he said, I got a surprise for you. And he gave me this laundry bag. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, why is he giving me a laundry bag? I thought it was a present. So I was like, oh, okay, laundry bag. Later on, I realized he thought we were going to share it. Like, and I was going to do his laundry. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then when it came time to like do the laundry, he was like wanting to put his clothes in there with mine. And I was like, I don't even know you. I'm not going to put my clothes in a laundry bag. Do you think I'm your maid? So that was kind of, you know, here we are. Me and Tony are getting ready to go off and get our truck. The other things that he waited to drop on me at that last minute was, oh, by the way, I got something wrong with my eye. I got like a little scrape on it a long time ago, and I don't see that good at night, so you're going to have to drive all of the night shifts. And I was like, what? So these are a couple of the things that you find out when you're team driving at the last minute, and you should be clear on, because it should be 50-50 all the time, all the time. That's how you work in a team. And when you're already seeing these little manipulative characteristics of somebody, you should go, this is not going to be the person for me, because they're already trying to manipulate the situation to get you on the truck, so that they are either a control freak, or they don't want to carry their 50% of the workload, and they don't want to help out. So you're looking for character flaws like that, and they're kind of hard to detect until you get out on the road, which is unfortunate because it wastes time and it's not cost effective. But I didn't have a whole bunch of choices, and there wasn't anybody else for me to team. I couldn't find any other women to team with, and they weren't facilitating me to find any. So that's another reason that we have to go on with this story, because there was plenty of women around here that were looking for a woman too, and we're trying to now network everybody together. So that's what we're doing. So that's the end of my ride with TJ, and I had made my HR report, and we were going to get seated on a truck, and me and Tony were going to recover a truck. There was trucks on the property, but they got us one we needed to recover in Florida. So here we go. We're going to be repo truckers. And that's how we got our first truck. We had to drive to Florida and basically go repossess it or something. So that'll be my next segment that I'm talking about. Okay? Bye.